What do you do when a couple comes in for a tasting and they have no idea of what they want design wise? That's what we're going to talk about today on my weekly wedding cake business tip. Hi, I'm Jenny and I teach wedding cake bakers how to be better business owners. Okay, this is inspired by a couple I met with this weekend. And they came in with no idea. I mean, haven't even looked at cakes. And I have a whole process when my couples come in for tastings and I guide them through it. So I don't send them messages like send me a message board, a vision board and stuff like that. We do this all at the tasting all at once. And this is a great time to connect with your clients. And this is a great sales technique. So if you are doing in-person tastings, good for you. It really is a great experience for your couples. All right, but sometimes people come in, they have no idea what they want. And I love designing for couples, so a lot of times I see this as a challenge, but I know that when I first started, I would be stuck. People would come in and, I said, "Oh, well, do you have any idea of what you were thinking?" And they're like, "No, we haven't even looked." And I'm like, "Okay, where do I start?" But then as I started designing for my couples, it just got really easy. So I wanted to share with you a little bit of my process. So at the tasting, I have a whole process that I go through. And if you have seen my videos on how to run your tastings, I highly recommend that you do this too, because what this does is it makes you the leader. It puts you in the position of the authority, and they look at you as an authority. And when that happens, they trust you. And that's when it all comes together. And that's when it's not selling, it's just connecting and building trust in that one meeting. So when they come in, I guide them, I have them sit down, and then I go through a lot of questions. These are basic questions like, where do they live and things like that. And I don't honestly care how they met, but if it's a really interesting story, it'll come up, but it's nothing that I ask. And then I ask about the reception. I ask if they're using any special colors or if there's anything special they're trying to incorporate or a special vibe or anything like that. So a lot of times they'll say no or they'll give me a color. And then the more that we start talking, a lot more things come out. So if when you do ask these questions, just don't take it as, "Oh yeah, we're using some fall colors." And then, okay, so you write down fall colors, whatever, that's pretty standard, right? But then once you start talking to your clients, you'll get more of a vibe of what they're really looking for. And that's when it's really easy to design for them. So before we even start talking about cake, I never, ever, ever say, "Oh, well, what do you want for a cake?" Never, because it's my job to create something for them that's unique for them. And it's fine if they bring me inspiration pictures, but I'm not going to just go by that one thing and just say, "Okay, here you go, this is how much it's going to be." So anyway, I ask them what the vibe is, what kind of feel they're going for, what kind of colors they're using, and then I ask them who all their vendors are. And the reason I do this is because when you get familiar with the other wedding professionals you're working with, you'll know their vibe. So if they're working with a certain florist, I'm like, "Oh, I know that florist. I know what her or his kind of style is and what kind of feel they go for too." So that's probably why they connected, and it really is helpful. So I go through all these questions on my order form, and then I say to them, "Okay, did you have anything in mind for cake styles?" And if they say no, okay, now they don't even know what a two-tiered, three-tiered, five-tiered, seven-tiered cake is, right? I mean, if they haven't even looked, they don't know if there's a difference. They don't know what that depends on. They don't know, they don't know anything about wedding cakes, because that's why they're coming to you. So this is where it's your turn to guide them. So instead of saying like, "Do you want 3 tiers? Do you want 4 tiers?" Say, "All right, so let's start. You mentioned that it's a romantic summer wedding and you're using all whites." So I think to myself, like, okay, romantic summer, I'm thinking texture, flowy, things like that, right? So maybe I show them a few pictures of my cakes and say, like, "Do any of these resonate? Is anything on here striking you?" Show them a few pictures from your portfolio, or if you don't have a lot of pictures from your portfolio, you can even Google pictures and just say, "These aren't my cakes, but let's look at some elements of these styles and see if there's anything that you like." And then you'll get a feel if they like sleek, if they like modern, if they like vintage, if they like rustic. You'll get a feel for that, because as you start going along, there will be some consistency in that. And then that's when, you can say, okay, so you're having 100 people. We could do a 3-tiered cake or we could do a 4-tiered cake. Do you have any preference in these proportions? So you can show them proportions of something, because it's funny. People are very particular about the proportions of their cake. Some like the tall and skinny, and some like the shorter, wider. So that's a great question to ask if you don't even know where to start. And then just start asking about texture. Do you like something with a lot of texture? Do you like a lot of three-dimensional feel, like a flowy feel, or do you like a little more structured feel? And then you can show them examples of those styles as you go. And then as far as color goes, you can show them ways to get color, whether it's through fresh flowers, through hand painting, through pressed flowers, or anything like that, sugar flowers. You can show them different techniques and see if they are drawn towards anything. And then now it's time to design for them. So say they like a lot of texture. I'll just use the wedding that I just had on Friday. I use that as an example. Very romantic, like I said, summer wedding. It was it was at a castle on a beach, so it's relaxed, but it's also very, it's a pretty grand place. So I'm thinking, yeah, let's give you a big, beautiful cake with lots of texture, lots of not rustic, but natural feelings, because we are in a natural setting. So I designed for them a 4-tiered cake, a little bit of texture on their buttercream, some sugar ribbons coming down, more like, not even like ribbons, but more like if you could picture organza coming down and flowy. It was very flowy. And some fresh flowers, just to make it nice and casual and not too formal, instead of sugar flowers. And it came out just the way that I wanted it to, and it was perfectly fitting with everything that we did. And they were thrilled because, we came together and designed something for them, instead of me saying, okay, what do you like? What do you want? And then it comes out, all the cakes come out the same because they're taking pictures off of Pinterest or Googling pictures. So you're just copying somebody else's work. So when you are using these consultations to design, which I highly recommend, and this is a technique that I teach in my Wedding Cake Business Academy, along with how to design, like how to be a designer too. We go into a whole module in that. But this is your chance to really lead them and really show them that you're the authority, you are the artist, you are the professional, you are the team member that they're going to want to be on their wedding team. Okay, so that is my tip for this week. Wedding Cake Business Academy is going to be open in September 2026. And it is a combination of an online course that you get forever, and then there's also group coaching, and we have a wonderful, wonderful community of other cake makers that are in the same position that you are, and we all help each other out. So if you want some more information on that, just email me. I will put my email address in the description. And if you have any tips that you'd like me to cover, just drop it in the comments, okay? And if you do have things that you do at your tastings to design for your clients, put it in the comments. I love to hear it. All right. Thank you so much. I'll see you next week. Bye.